In 1989, the Iron Curtain, a symbol of division between Eastern and Western Europe, began to crumble. This marked a significant shift from communism, an ideology where governments controlled everything, including private property, to a new era of democracy and capitalism. The collapse of communism was a victory for capitalism as it allowed free market competition and economic growth to flourish. It was also a triumph for democracy, giving people in Eastern European and Central Eastern European countries the freedom to choose their leaders and enjoy personal liberties. One country in particular celebrated this victory, and it was Romania.
The beginning of the country's shift to democracy, a process that led to free elections just months later.
Romania, a country long under the oppressive grip of communism, found itself at the forefront of this historic transformation. The Romanian Revolution of December 1989 brought an end to Nicolae Ceausescu's brutal regime and set the stage for a new era in the country's history. Yet, as the years passed and Romania began its journey toward economic development and democracy, the ghost of its communist past continued to haunt its society. Has Romania fully transitioned from communism, and how long does it take to change post-communism? We will explore in today's video. A study done by the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development in the early 2000s found that it takes about 25 years for a country that used to be communist to get back to how it was economically before communism. Romania is an example of this statement. When Ceausescu was in charge, Romania's economy was badly managed. The country was cut off from the world, and people's lives were controlled by a strict government. In the early 1990s, Romania was one of the poorest countries in Europe. The country chose to embrace an open market system, trade, and private property after liberating itself from the old communist regime. This shift marked a desire to do things differently, akin to adopting capitalist principles. However, transitioning to this new system brought challenges. Prices rose, jobs were lost, and society experienced instability as Romania adjusted to this newfound economic and political freedom. Over time, Romania saw significant improvements. In 2007, the country's determination to align itself with the US and EU became evident as it joined the European Union. This marked a crucial step in the nation's progress. Romania made substantial economic and political changes that attracted foreign investments, modernized various sectors, and enhanced the quality of life for its citizens. However, it's worth noting that the transformation of the economy was closely tied to political changes. While new faces appeared in leadership roles, the challenge was that the new leaders often resembled the old ones in different attire. Despite this, Romania's transition from a single-party, communist government to a democratic nation with free elections, a multitude of political parties, and a commitment to safeguarding human rights was a remarkable achievement. Resultantly, according to the National Bank of Romania, the wealth of the Romanian people grew more than 8 times in the last 20 years. The money people have to spend went up a lot between 2000 and 2020. And Romania had the biggest increase in Europe during this time, about 10% every year. This brought Romania closer to other richer countries in Central Europe. Many Romanians invested their money in houses or apartments. In fact, over 95% of Romanian adults own a place to live, based on Eurostat data. Romania's economic progress can also be gauged from the fact that Accenture, Oracle, and IBM have established a strong presence in Romania, offering IT and business process outsourcing services. Similarly, companies like Ford, Renault, and Bosch have invested in manufacturing and assembly plants, and the list is endless, all thanks to liberalization. But there's a problem in Romania, among other things. While the country has made a lot of progress, some things from the old communist way of thinking are still around. For example, Romanians are still skeptical and afraid of taking risks. This comes from the time when saying anything against the government could get you in trouble. This caution shows up not just in politics, but also in starting new businesses and investing in new things. Also, a deep mistrust of those in authority still lingers in the collective consciousness of the Romanian population, particularly directed towards the government and political sphere. During the communist times, there was a lot of spying, censorship, and fear of the government. Even in a democratic Romania, some people still don't trust the government. For example, the word capitalism is a good example. Even though communism has been gone for over 30 years, some socialist parties in Romania still use the word capitalism to make the West look bad. It's often claimed that the West, the EU or Brussels seeks to take away Romania's resources, exploit its people, and distribute subpar products. In televised political debates, terms like capitalism or synonymous words are used as insults to discredit opponents. But before we move ahead, do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like our content. Nevertheless, how long does it really take for a country to change after communism? The post-communist transformation timeline varies from country to country. For example, Poland and the Czech Republic experienced relatively smooth transitions in the late 1980s and early 1990s, often referred to as the Velvet Revolution and Solidarity Movement, respectively. In contrast, Russia's transition has been more turbulent and protracted, characterized by political, economic, and social challenges. But in his book, The Post-Communist Transition, Economic and Political Outcomes in Central and Eastern Europe and the Former Soviet Union, Timothy Garton Ash expresses the fact that the change in countries that used to be communist has been different, and some did better than others in becoming democratic and having capitalism. Why? He says it's because of multiple factors, like how strong and resilient the regular people are, what's left from the communist times, and what are the aids and influences coming from European Union or the United States. Ash also talks about the hardest part, changing the way people think. He says the most difficult challenge of all is to change the mentalities of people who have been brought up in a communist system. This is a long-term process, and it cannot be rushed. What he means is that people who grew up under communism have certain ways of thinking that are tough to change rapidly. In the case of Romania, Ash says it's doing better in becoming democratic and adopting somehow the capitalism, but there are still problems like a lot of corruption, a weak economy, and many poor people. He thinks it will take at least a whole generation for Romania to change the way people think after communism. He says it is likely to take a generation for Romania to fully overcome its post-communist mentality. This is because it takes time for new values and attitudes to take root. It also takes time for people to forget the old ways of doing things. Looking at history, Romania can draw important lessons from other post-communist countries. The Velvet Revolution in Czech Republic, the struggle for democracy in Poland, and similar transitions to democracy in different regions highlight the significance of civil society's role in promoting democracy and human rights. They underscore the need for institutional reform to make government more transparent and accountable. Furthermore, these examples emphasize the pivotal role of economic development in creating new opportunities and reshaping societal attitudes towards work and risk-taking. Romania's political transition away from communism might still take time, but for that focus on tackling corruption, reforming the bureaucracy, and consolidating democracy must be the key. In conclusion, Romania's post-communist journey is a testament to the enduring impact of history on a nation's psyche. While the fall of the Iron Curtain marked a victory for democracy and capitalism, it is clear that the legacy of communism continues to shape the country's mindset. As demonstrated by Timothy Garton Ash, changing mentalities is a slow and intricate process that takes time and persistence. Romania's transformation serves as a compelling example, highlighting the importance of economic development, transparency, and trust in government. Lessons from its experience can inform not only its future, but also the broader context of post-communist transitions, emphasizing the need for patience and a generational perspective as countries strive to overcome their communist past and embrace new values and attitudes. What do you guys think? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to know more about the Romanian economy, don't forget to watch our video on it.